Guys, I'm doing another middle of the night thing here. I think that's the reflection of my candle in the mirror in there. There's also a bit of kitchen that you can see. Whatever, it's not really about the visuals. I had another conversation with my dad, and this time it became a bit more personal. Both ways, I think. And I'm understanding so much more. So, here goes, Waiting for my tea to boil. It's 3:30 in the night. I did sleep quite a bit, quite well. So, it's not like it's gonna be another really bad haul or anything. I'm just in need of a cup of tea. And, it's so intense. If he weren't my dad, he wouldn't be watching this stuff. None of it. It's not his jam in any way. So, that being said, whatever it is that I'm doing here, I feel now that I have to take into consideration the fact that he's watching. Pretty much, especially recently, he's been watching what I'm doing. And it's triggering. Everything's triggering. Everything about the whole situation is triggering. And I've figured out quite a bit about this. So I think the most important thing that I'm figuring out is I carry my mother's and probably my grandfather's energy of being beaten into submission with me in my life, normally in some latent form, so it doesn't really come out, it doesn't really manifest itself until I am really challenged or put to the test, or somebody, I feel, whenever you feel attacked. It was my mother's basic way of going about things, always. She was always in a mode of feeling that she had to defend herself, which is something that my dad went into yesterday in a talk. So, actually, most of this is helping. The truth is helping. It's hard and it's painful and stressful because of the memories. On this side, the memories are of being beaten into submission as a small kid. And that's where all the tunnel vision comes from. That's where there's just no way. I don't think there really is a way. I think it's a test to find a way to, in the end, in 2019, 2020, in the future, be compassionate enough to all parties, to yourself, something like that, so that eventually, maybe at some point, the trigger will fade slightly, or it has already. I mean, I can work with it now. I still feel, and all the programming is like it's only just, I can only just manage, but that's not really true. So there's, ways where I can see now that my parents, when I was a small kid, they were really completely gridlocked into this tiny square of a kind of a way of being with each other back then. And It's never made any sense to me. None of it's ever made any sense. So, I've thought of, it's going to be a bit disjointed because, 3:30 in the night. I've thought of shutting down this channel and just, maybe starting off again somewhere else, or under an anonymous name, which is what people do, People do that type of thing. Shut down again. It would be repeating the past. It would be. I have to find a way to not be so accessible to the trigger. Basically, I have to find a way to remind myself that whatever it is that he's doing and saying, he's not doing this on purpose to hurt me. He doesn't realise. It's not his world he's got his own triggers, So he can't see, I think, what it is that he's doing that's really unhelpful. So here I go. I'm talking about these things because it's my channel and I want to talk about this, and I'm realizing again how unpleasant it will be for him to hear me talk about these things in this way. Maybe I should go off into the blue and have me another channel somewhere else, and communicate to some people through Facebook. Send messenger messages to some people. You guys got another channel because of the things. It feels like revenge, payback time for all the shit, all the stupid isolation, all the stupidity. I don't think it's going to be, because yes, I feel angry and upset. Quite a bit. But it wasn't one person's doing. Basically, that's one important thing to realise for me at this point, is that none of this was one person's doing. It's not his fault. It's not really his fault. I think he hasn't helped, and he couldn't help being the way he is. He's clever in some ways, Yeah, I can see him getting offended at what I'm saying here, and just breaking off communication again. All that, My words are as easy as his, only I talk from a different place. He always wants to be, I guess he always wants to be in control in some way. So it's hard. It's confusing, and it's hard, and I allow too much access. It's too personal. So he said, let's not meet up for a while, let's just talk on the phone. Because he feels that we have to learn about each other first. So he does care, which is cool, in a way. If I didn't care, it wouldn't be so difficult. So there's all these perspectives, and everything is living inside of me, basically. I'm utterly, and I spent ages, milling around my brain the different sides to things. And there's a lot of helplessness, and there's a lot of cynicism, and let's have some more of that, The thing is, I am hurting. And only a tiny bit of the pain is originally my own. That's why the first video that I put up that looks like this a couple of weeks ago, a month ago, was called It's Dark in Empathy Territory, right? Because I've picked up basically everything. All the emotions from everybody at stages in their lives where they should have been able to cope. They should have managed. They should have been, they should have looked out for a small child. And they didn't. There was just, and whatever happens to the kids in the world, the fallout of our limitations, can we bring that out? Because that's what it's like when you're 2 and 3 years old and nobody cares what it's like. Because they can't face their own shit ever, can they? That's parents for you. If I go cynical about parents, the way parents treat kids, if I just look at mums picking up their kids at schools, right out here, dads, everybody is so self-centered. That's ego for you. And as long as the conventions are being obeyed, as long as everything is predictable, as long as, because nobody really manages, because nobody's really ever experienced healing, because nobody's had time, because the world is a machine, and that's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing this, because a lot of what he says actually makes a lot of sense also. So my mum went berserk over those things, and her berserkness has been, I've been kind of inoculated with that all the time for 28 years, for as long as I shared my life with her, whatever that means, really. And I have to realise how limited people are. And I don't like feeling that way. I've fought against this sense of being only a victim, or being only, it's not that I don't want to acknowledge that. I used to not want to acknowledge any of that, of course, but nowadays I know that this is very much part of the game. It's very much part of the deal. But there's lots of other perspectives that I just have to be a part of, that I've just, and yes, it is because they're less painful than this one. Yeah. So it makes me feel a whole lot better to, for example, think of what we went through on my mum's side in terms of some type of consecration. Last night I kept thinking of us as the pain that we've gone through, and it isn't limited to just one person or to just a couple of people, really, but I was thinking of the pain as a consecration, as incense, basically. And I was wondering, what is the divinity that this is being consecrated to? And asking the question was actually a kind of special, and I was impressed with how that felt, really. Having the question, but no answer. Because I don't do religion, I don't do imagery, I don't do priests, I don't do ritual, basically any of it. So this is just one I'm assuming there is a point outside of ourselves. Maybe like the Indian philosophy of having an observer who balances out the work of the world in one single state of completeness, in a way. That's called Purusha. Purusha is the observer, and Prakriti is the other side, the active side. And the first one is potentially, to some extent, I don't know how realistic that is, but supposed to be male, and the active side is female in the legends, to the extent that I've actually read about those things. I kind of enjoy that perspective a bit. There's another Indian approach where God, if you like, is called Ananda, joy. And I'm more comfortable with that. But it's not like that it's not really possible for me to be seen by Ananda that much. It's difficult. It's not because the vibrations are so different. It's not like I can't see that it's really impossible for me to have any mystical experience here at this moment, because I'm doped out and exhausted and trampled. All that's been going through my brain. All that, about the also about the channel and all that. I could see for the first time yesterday evening how exactly I inherited this load of misery from my mum. And I've just been, my software this is what it works like. And I'm using my channel, I'm using you guys, everybody out there, to talk to, because if I talk, I slowly make more sense. In the words, I find openings, things become, when they're named and when they're joined to each other, things become human again. Yes. So yeah, that's what I believe. Certainly, things become. That's why you write in a journal, or you do this type of stuff, or you talk to friends, or any of it. So that's another new idea, really, because words used to be just for the sake of, because that was automatic with me trying to talk, just like he does, just like my dad does, basically. I've inherited a lot of it from him as well. And basically what I'm trying to tell myself again and again is that my perspective isn't his, which is what he keeps telling me. And so my perspective isn't his, and his perspective isn't mine. At all. There used to be such a thing as authority that actually really determined the very nature of existence, and it determined what was the truth. That was my mum's dimension and her father's dimension. Them going on, I've seen it, about what was true and what wasn't forever. Gridlock, you know? So it's in the past. My mum has been gone this 17th of November. She will have been gone for 24 years. And here I am. I'm still carrying all this around in pristine condition as if it was my favourite teddy bear. So that's, I guess that's what we do with this type of pain. It will get better. I can tell it's already gotten a lot better, you know. It's thanks to all my crystals and all that, you know. Yesterday I walked around with the Amanita beeswax mixed, you know, in a bag. Where is it? I don't have it here. Yeah, we've got one here. It's a different one. This is the. Let me just see what this looks like in this light. So this is the Pantherina beeswax. I've got the muscaria is really different. It's quite awesome to be able to carry that around with you, and if you've got a tiny bit of the influence because you're familiar with it, that's actually enough for me. So I'm wondering, all those people who really, you know, use Amanita in teas and things to, you know, in order to feel better, if you wouldn't. If you mightn't find this just as helpful, you know, to just carry this around with you. The Pantherina is a bit more of a challenge. It's a bit more fiery and feisty and stuff like that. So far, I haven't really, you know, what with all this stuff going on, I haven't really done any. I haven't really done any meditating because turmoil and things, you know. But it's important. It's a part of the life that I'm in. All those perspectives are a part of the life, and so yeah, I don't think I'm going to shut out anybody, or there's loads of ego on all sides, pride, trying to defend yourself over, back and forth and over and over and again. I'm not in any actual real danger. Not anymore. There used to be. There used to be quite a bit of danger. When you're 3 years old, you depend on them, you know. It was just a nightmare. So here's to soul retrieval and what it has brought me. Because that was the big change, really. And after the actual soul retrieval experiences, plural, I had to go through so many levels of making decisions and incorporating emotions and working in all sorts of ways to make it work for me. So it wasn't like it was an instant fix, you know. There are no instant fixes for me. Both my parents, the same chart, you know. Mercury in Aries, both of them. Oh God, almost half an hour. Thank you for watching, you guys. Whoever, you know, some people actually see this who are not connected to the story other than how you choose to be. Thank you for being out there, because I can really use me some other vibrations, you know. We help each other. Thank you for watching, guys. See you soon. Ciao.